Sexuality in recent times has become an absolute monster. No longer do we define ourselves by our thoughts, character, and experiences, but rather what kind of sexy bits make us moist. The LGBT banner flies higher than any flag, and what used to be a piece of information that was only relevant in certain situations has become something that apparently everyone needs to know. So when some YouTube scientist who's never studied anything that doesn't have a rainbow flag in the header attempts to prove homosexuality doesn't just have an effect on masculinity, but actually increases it, I gotta call several shades of bullshit.
Society tells us masculinity refers to male experiences or attributes.
Society? Mate, that's what the fucking word means. Society has piss all to do with it. Why not pick up a dictionary instead of reading books on pig sickness?
There are so many social and biological factors that contribute to masculinity, but overall it's about the acceptance and approval from other men.
So if men do manly things for the approval of other men, are you currently wearing light blue nail varnish to seek the approval of women? No? Well then you must be talking bollocks right now, kiddo.
And since gay men, for a variety of reasons, are constantly looking for validation and approval from other men,
I think we all know why gay men want to please other men. I wouldn't say it's a variety of reasons, but rather one big veiny reason.
Does that mean that gay men are essentially more masculine?
No, because you're relying on the idea that masculinity is for the purpose of gaining the approval of other men, which it isn't. I mean, a lot of women seek out masculinity in a partner, so you've stood on your own balls right there for a start. But I'm not surprised a guy like yourself would be trying to piss about with the idea that because that's what whingy little hemorrhoids do, isn't it? If you can't have it, it's either toxic, problematic, or just doesn't exist. Is that a G? ASGP. I have no idea what that means. I recognise the thought part, that's fine, but the only thing I can come up with for that acronym is A Small Garlic Press, which is a publishing company in Chicago. Unless that is an A, in which case we have ASAP Thought. So let's get back to what this sap thinks.
According to the way masculinity is perceived on a larger scale, a masculine man would talk about a successful sexual conquest, his status, his wealth, how big it is the fish that he caught.
So masculinity is all about bragging, is it? Nothing to do with the qualities traditionally associated with men like bravery and strength? So if I go down to the pub tonight and chat up some bimbo and she starts boasting about the time she had sex with some random guy on the top level of a double-decker bus, she's butch, is she? As well as a bit of a slut.
Yo bro, Frankie got some digits tonight, the girl was hot!
Was? What did Frankie do to her? Did he kill her or just mess up her face a little bit? Or he could have busted a nut on her face, but I've had sex with some girls who were actually improved by that look.
They do this as a way to prove their masculinity to other men.
So when you say they, you mean men, right? So we can assume you're not a man. Mate, you really need to read your script back before you record. You are leaving some ambiguity behind you like a fucking snail trail.
Scholars define that men are the ones in control of how masculinity is perceived, and it's considered a homosocial act.
Fucking hell, you'll put the word homo onto anything, won't you? What are the chances these scholars are female, eh? There's been this war on masculinity for some time now, hasn't there? Pushing the notion that masculinity is bad and toxic, whereas femininity is the motherfucking future. But it didn't stop anyone from just being themselves instead of pursuing a more pink and fluffy type of personality, so now you're going to imply it's gay and see if that works.
Think about the NHL or the NFL or the NBA. These are literally environments where women are not allowed to play or be involved in the same way.
What, male sports leagues? Yeah, I wonder why that is. They would get fucking flattened, mate. It wouldn't be fair because of the general difference in physique. And shit, these are contact sports. It would probably be fucking dangerous. And never mind the problems that would come about towards the end of the league when the New England Patriots have to substitute a player before the Super Bowl because Linda's decided to have a fucking baby.
This is where masculinity can flourish. Hence, masculine men like sports because it's all about dude-on-dude approval.
Or it's about sports. It all goes back to the likes of the Colosseum, doesn't it? We watch these specially trained gladiators fighting for victory. Are you telling me that was about dude-on-dude approval too? Because it must have been hard for Crixus to get a favourable nod from his vanquished opponent when he's just cut his fucking head off.
Gay men do this in their own way too. We are still looking for approval from other men quite constantly, and therefore, by definition, gay men are hyper-masculine.
No, your original idea of masculinity is hyper-masculine. That is exaggerated emphasis on virility and shit. Ever heard of strong and silent types? Masculinity, by definition, is the traits generally associated with being a man. But fuck, let's all let a guy wearing nail varnish and a shirt buttoned all the way to the top despite the fact he's not wearing a tie and acting camper than a row of pink tents with gay men in them sniffing poppers tell us he's actually hyper-masculine.
But gay men also have to deal with homophobia, homophobia, which is directly linked to gay men being more feminine.
No, it's directly linked to some people not liking homosexuals because of how they get their rocks off. Have you completely forgotten about lesbians, mate? If someone shouted a slur at Leah Delaria because she likes the V, would that not be homophobic because she isn't feminine? Think it through, kid. You can film in front of your books all you want, but I'm seeing multiple copies here, so I'm guessing this is all for show. I mean, look, you're using these to prop up a fucking globe. That's not what they're for.
Homophobia is so much more than the irrational fear of gay people.
No, that's exactly what it is, you fucking spanner. Actually, no, because spanners have a use, you fucking fidget spinner.
Calling someone gay or a fag is another way of calling them more feminine or sissy or inferior.
See, even you don't seem sure about that. If I wanted to call someone a sissy, I wouldn't cloak it behind a word with two meanings. I'd straight call them a sissy. And what's wrong with calling someone gay when they are actually gay? How could that be offensive? I mean, surely they'd just be stood there like, well, that's completely accurate. How can you be offended by the same fucking word just because someone else said it? Unless you're gonna go down the same road as nigger and be all like, that's our word, and fucking hell, I can totally see that happening.
And so yes, homophobia is sexism.
Wow, okay. Just as if I were blindfolded at a bukkake party, I did not see that coming. If homophobia were sexism, wouldn't it have a clearer title like, I don't know, sexism?
For example, I get so many comments saying, I'm not homophobic, but I hate that that dude talks like a girl and wears nail polish.
It's varnish, mate. Polish is used to make something shine. So you've had comments on YouTube, and that means homophobia is sexism and also means there's no such thing as a masculine gay man. Do all of your examples come from your comment section, or have you found some in shows like Sex in the City as well?
People always seem to be so mad that I sound like a girl.
No, you don't sound like a girl. You sound like an effeminate man who hasn't got a fucking clue.
Homophobia and sexism are both created by masculinity and the patriarchy.
Ah, the patriarchy. Hello, old friend. It's been a while. I thought the libtards had given up on that one. But wait, if homophobia and sexism were created by the ubiquitous patriarchy and masculinity, and gay men are hyper-masculine, doesn't that mean gay men created homophobia? Holy shit, we're really learning things here today, aren't we? Keep going.
The fact that our society favors the ideology of men.
Oh yeah, you want custody of your own children after your divorce? Too bad. We're totally in favor of you, but no. Oh wait, you've been accused of rape. I know you were proven innocent, but you're gonna lose your job and your wife's gonna leave you anyway. And as we've mentioned, you won't get to see your kids. But it's okay because you've been drafted to fight a war. And hey, we're in favor of you.
This is why society as a whole creates a pressure for especially feminine gay men to feel shame. As a teacher, I saw this all the time with the kids that I would teach.
You were a teacher? How? Why did no one stop this?
If you asked a group of boys who was the girliest in the group, they would all freak out and not want the label.
What subject were you teaching there, old boy? Is that even part of the curriculum? And did you ask the girls who were the most boyish too? Because I can see a similar reaction happening, but I guess that wouldn't help us swallow the bullshit you're trying to feed us right now.
I remember as a kid, guys would ask me to look at my nails. If I looked at it like this, they would say, oh, you're a girl. But if I looked at it like this was the boy way to do it.
Yeah, when you were a kid, kids tease each other. Did no one ask you if you can lick your own elbow? Because then you would look as retarded as you sound right now.
I'd always look at my nails like this, and I always remember feeling so shamed and embarrassed.
And yet now you're a grown-ass man who wears nail varnish, so I'm gonna say it didn't have any effect on you in the slightest.
One study found that when women were asked how to tell if a man was gay, common answers were feminine attributes, walks like a girl, shows compassion.
Stereotypes, yeah, so fucking what? You don't like them? Stop fucking being one.
And one answer was even that a girl thinks a guy is gay when it seems like he really cares about her.
So not one person said when they have a cock in their mouth. That seems really odd. You'd think that would be the most obvious, wouldn't you?
Historically, new immigrants to America have also been perceived as less manly.
You were a teacher, and you're only just finding out about cultural and racial differences? I want to cry for your education system, but that wouldn't be very manly of me.
Common stereotypes were Italian men were too passionate and touchy to be real men.
And yet we had the mafia.
Or Vietnamese men were too small and dainty to be real men.
But despite that, they managed to kill a fuckload during the Vietnam War.
All of this racism is about shaming femininity.
That wasn't wasn't racism, it was perception. You know, discriminate means to see the difference, and people from all around the world have lots of differences. Acknowledging that they're there isn't a bad thing. For fuck's sake, man, I still can't believe you were a teacher.
Manhood is often equated with power over women and power over feminine men.
No, it's about working hard and bringing home that bacon. Unless you're a vegan, in which case you probably don't have the energy to work.
So, what is something we can all do to combat this and essentially just make everyone's lives easier?
Well, I think getting you to shut the fuck up would be a step in the right direction.
For gay men, we need to stop striving to be perceived as masculine and shaming other gay people for being feminine.
And how's that striving to be masculine working out for you, buddy? Fucking nailing it, I see. You're like a lumberjack.
If you're on a gay hookup app, you will constantly see people saying, I'm a masculine man looking for another masculine man. It's so common that it's been short formed to mask for mask.
Yeah, those people with personal preferences are destroying the fucking earth, man. Why can't we all just be part of the same genderless collective with no specific desires?
Some people are just as explicit as saying no feminine guys.
Oh, right, I get it. Sexual frustration is now on the table.
This is not cool and this is not sexy.
Well, if everything you said in this video is to be taken as gospel, that was quite the homophobic remark you just made.
Also, there is a huge rise of the gay bro now in our community. This is just another way of contributing to sexism, the idea that the better you are at passing as a straight man, the sexier you are.
Right, so all gay men should be effeminate even if they're not. Let people be themselves, but also don't.
Let's empower gay men for ideals outside of being able to go to the gym all the time, act like a bro, and look like a jock.
I honestly, I don't even know what to say to that. I had no idea I was going to be taking on such a fucking spastic today. I didn't have a clue. I woke up, I had a cup of tea, I went to work. What was I thinking? I should have been preparing.
As opposed to always seeking validation from men, maybe we can look for validation from women more often.
But for gay men, women are kind of useless, aren't they? So no dice there. And for straight men, practically everything we do is to get a bit of puss. Why do you think that dude constructed the Eiffel Tower? To get approval from his bloke mates, also he could tell women, I based it on my dick. The whole world is covered with totems that scream, let me do sex to you.
Whether a gay girl or a straight guy, we all need to empower and embrace our feminine attributes.
Why? So we can blame everything on the patriarchy? That sounds shit. Who would remove the spiders from the bathtub? No one. It'd be a fucking disaster, mate.
For example, if femininity is about being compassionate and vulnerable and being a queen, then we should be excited and strive to be more feminine.
Except you just used the word vulnerable. No one likes that. Who tells stories like, bro, I bent her over the table, I started fucking her from behind, it was awesome, man. I felt so vulnerable. Dickhead.
Whether you are gay, bi, straight, identify as a man or a woman, let's all embrace and become more feminine.
Fucking no one with a beard should ever pose like that. He's like a Japanese schoolgirl, but ginger, male, and in his early 30s. And he hasn't actually mentioned whether or not he's gay, but this book here is called The Swallows, so I think it's safe to assume. So, to summarise, gay men are hyper-masculine and masculinity created homophobia. Ergo, gay men are their own problem. And we should all be more effeminate, because this guy is, and that means the whole world should change to make him more comfortable. Nice one! Totally feasible, not at all ridiculous, and we all know people love modifying intrinsic aspects of their personality for someone whose head is so far up his ass that he can suck on his own appendix. Thanks for watching, guys. Check me out on VidMe, as YouTube is squeezing me pips, and please consider becoming a patron for the same bastard reason. The links are in the description, and the inaugural Drunken Uncle livestream will be kicking off at 10 PM British time tomorrow to celebrate the channel hitting 10,000 subscribers, so I'd love to see you there. And remember, some people like getting fucked in the ass, and some people are fucked in the head.